Dudley here. I'm bringing you another video in the series that I'm doing with Hoare. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about finding your authoritative voice and how you can be taken seriously at work and feel influential and say what you want to say. I can tell you that confidence is probably the number one issue that I come across with most assistants that I meet and assistants that I've mentored, and what I get asked a lot about. I've given webinars on this, and it's something that I dive deep into in the officials HQ site that is launching this month, hopefully. And it's something I think is so important because as assistants, we often put others before ourselves. We actually find joy in helping others. If you don't find joy in helping others, then you're definitely in the wrong role. But we like improving others' lives, and it helps us feel more by helping other people feel more. Having more joy in their life brings us joy. And so oftentimes we put ourselves on the back burner, and then that can really strike your confidence after a while. And so how do you get that back? How do you get it in the first place if it's not inherent to you? And I can tell you right now, that voice is something that's learned. No one is born with an authoritative voice. It's something that's learned. Some of us learn faster than others. It took me many years, many years to find my authoritative voice, and I'm still finding it today. So first, I've got two things I want to tell you about having an authoritative voice. One, you have to understand your worth. You have to understand that you are a worthy member of your team, of your company. You were hired to fill a specific role because you have specific skills. Whether you've done this role or not before, they feel that you can learn fast, or that you did learn fast in another role and are bringing that experience to the table, and that you are a safe pair of hands to basically help someone who is usually quite important, or several people that are quite important. It could be you're an office manager, it could be your private personal assistant, it could be you're an executive assistant. It doesn't matter. Admins and assistants come in all shapes and sizes, in all different types of roles, in all different types of offices and workplaces, and we're all important. All of us are just as important as the CEO, as the mailman, or mail person, or the developer. We all have a specific role. We've all been hired for a reason, and no one is more important or less important. We are all important. We all have a role. So one, you are worthy. So starting there, instead of being like, oh, I'm just an assistant, or apologizing for things all the time that aren't your fault. You don't need to do that because you are worthy. We're all peers. We're all human. We all put our trousers on one leg at a time. We all get up in the morning and brush our teeth, hopefully. And so one, you are worthy, and we are all equal. We are all peers. Doesn't matter who you are in the company. Okay, if you can grasp that, then the next piece of advice I have is to find someone that you know, or several people you know, it depends on how many you know, that have an authoritative voice that you already would like to emulate. There are just people in our lives that just have that tone, that you see other people around them start wanting to please them, make sure they don't disappoint them, either working for them or just showing off or laughing harder, or they just are magnetized to that person. Everybody knows that type of person. If you don't, there's a million examples of celebrities and politicians and just different people that have this ability. Now, it is not an inherent ability. This is something they have learned. And there's lots of videos. I can recommend some. There's one particular video I like to recommend that's very cheesy. It's actually about how to pick up women for men, but it does a very good job of talking about tone and how effective it is. But listen to that person. Start thinking in your head, how would that person ask for a raise? They wouldn't be afraid. They wouldn't walk in and apologize or be fearful. How would that person ask a group of people in your office, maybe developers or salespeople or marketers, to get involved in a project, or to quit slacking, or to come into a meeting, or to help you with something? They wouldn't be fearful. They would just come in and own their own authenticity. They would just be themselves, know that what they're asking is just as important as any other request that anyone else would have. And just by having that confidence, just having that centered idea in their mind that they are not bothering people, that this is just something that needs done, and of course these people are going to do it. By having that already in their mind, they just have that tone, and they just have that, it's not even the tone, it's just everything about them says alpha, or says I am relaxed, I am calm, I am clever, this needs to be done, and so we're all going to do it. And people respond. So start thinking about how they say things. Start listening to them. Start following them. Start studying them. And when you're home and you're putting on, you're getting ready in the morning and you're brushing your teeth and you're washing your face and you have something you want to say today, practice. Look in the mirror and start talking as them. Start imagining that you are them and you've got their voice, and just say things. I had a particular employer when I first started as an assistant that had this voice, and I've had several since then, some better than others as far as knowing what they were talking about, but they all had that tone that made people want to respond, and they were just leaders. And again, not natural leaders, they learned this. They were natural in the fact that they realized they needed to learn this. And I always thought to myself, I just wish I had so-and-so's voice. I just wish I could talk like them. And then I realized I could. If I just practice enough, I can trick my brain into thinking this is how I talk all the time. I can get into that another time about mirror neurons and how if you do practice and visualize yourself talking in that tone and in that way of someone that you admire that has that tone, an authoritative voice, your brain will start to do it. It'll become easier and easier and easier to do. And it is just something that you have to practice and to get better at. So those are my two tips. One, realize that you are worthy and that you are an equal to everyone else on the planet. We are all humans, and therefore your voice is just as worthy as anybody else's. And two, to think about someone that has an authoritative voice and start practicing speaking and saying things that they would say. Just imagine, like, what would so-and-so say if they were going in for a raise? What would so-and-so say if they were asking and they were in this situation? Play it over and over and over and over and over in your mind, and I promise you it will get easier. Even take a notebook and write their name at the top of the page if you need a reminder, because sometimes we walk into a room and what we had planned goes right out the window. So always take a notebook, write their name at the top, just something that centers you again and brings you back to it. So if you have any questions about confidence, if you have any questions about authoritative voice, if you have any questions about any of the videos that I've already posted in this series, or anything that you want to hear about in the future, please let me know. Let me know what you thought of this advice. If you have your own advice, please share with the group. We'd love to hear it. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.